This video is very long overdue. I had someone recommend I make it over a year ago now, but at that point I didn't feel qualified. I simply hadn't played enough games yet. But 2023 was a record year for me in terms of trying out new games and new genres, and especially some lesser known indie titles. So here are 10 games I think more people should be talking about in alphabetical order. BETON Brutal is a difficult parkour game set inside an overgrown tower filled with ladders, pillars, vines, and exactly 0 checkpoints. Yes, if you fall, you better be ready to climb all the way back up to where you were and try again. Have I made it to the top yet? No. Did I have fun while trying to get there? Yes, sometimes. And other times I unceremoniously rage quit only to find myself thinking about this desolate and peaceful place. This one's got the vibes, the challenge, that feeling of pure bliss when you reach a record new height. It feels great to play, and there are some crazy speedrun strats too if you really get into it. If you like your platformers from a side-scrolling perspective, here's one that I actually did beat. I put up a full review on Bzzzt recently, and yes, that is its name, but long story short, it's a super tight and polished platformer that'll make you say, just one more try, over and over again. Like BETON Brutal, there are no checkpoints, but unlike that one, the game is broken into super short levels that can be restarted at the press of a button. The music will transport you far into the future where every room you enter is for some reason filled with lasers, flames, and other evil robots who are out to get you. There are multiple difficulty modes, some really cool boss fights, and the pixel art is as crisp and snappy as the movement itself. A short and sweet experience. One of 2 completely free games on this list, Dio is a split-screen puzzle game that can be played solo or with a friend. Control 2 minotaurs as you navigate an ancient cursed labyrinth filled with traps and dead ends. The main mechanic here is merging 2 halves of the screen in order to get around obstacles and reach the exit. It's a super simple idea that yields some surprisingly challenging puzzles. Because of the freedom you have in essentially rearranging the room, you can even find solutions that the developers don't know about. No precision platforming, no enemies, no timers, just you and your brains. Ah yes, Ghost of a Tale. This is the first game that came to mind when putting this list together, and one of the reasons I started No Caps in the first place, to talk about the upcoming sequel. But the first game is a stealth adventure that takes place in this super cool interconnected castle where we find ourselves imprisoned. You get to scurry around, uncovering shortcuts, poking your little mousy nose into everyone's business, and taking in the beautiful scenery. I've truly never played a game like Ghost of a Tale before or since, and I think it's a title everyone should experience for themselves. Plus, look how cute Tilo the mouse is. Sticking with the rodent theme, investigate some strange squirrels living in the colorful depths of Melmoth Forest in Nuts. What starts off as a routine research mission slowly morphs into some puzzling and possibly sinister discoveries. Your job is to figure out what these squirrels are up to by placing cameras during the day and watching through your footage at night. Sort of like Firewatch meets Five Nights at Freddy's, kind of. Where do these critters hide their nuts? What puzzling routes do they take? And why do they behave so strangely? Nuts definitely has a unique atmosphere with its limited color palettes, and it's kind of just one of those games you have to go play for yourself to really get. If you've been enjoying my recommendations so far, I do have a curator page on Steam that I update pretty frequently with games I've tried out and enjoyed. Link is in the description. This is Noodle, the slippery, slithery star of Snake Pass. If you want to be transported back to your childhood days spent playing your favorite 3D platformer, this one's for you. Now, controlling your bendy body will take some getting used to, but once you nail down that tricky jump or reach a secret area, it'll all feel worth it. Snake Pass is vibrant, sometimes challenging, fun, and most of all, it'll have you thinking like a snake. Plus, getting all the collectibles in each of the levels is really satisfying. The other free game on this list is South Scrimshaw Part 1, with the second installment currently in development. This is the emotional tale of a young whale trying to learn their place in a sometimes harsh yet fascinating world. It's pretty much a visual novel without any dialogue options, but I promise you the story here is absolutely captivating and may or may not have made me tear up a bit. The game is set on an alien planet with its own history and biology, and learning about all the species that call this ocean home was super cool, and I'm really looking forward to continuing along with the story in part 2. If you enjoyed a short hike, then you're gonna like TOEM, a small game about taking pictures. Use your camera to solve puzzles and help the locals out with some curious problems. I love games that use photography as a main mechanic, even made a whole separate video about it, and this one is part hidden object game and part pure creative expression as you fill your photo album with weird and wonderful sights. I also think these locations would make a great coloring book, and you can even try out the free demo if you're still not sold. Funny enough, the next game is also mostly black and white, but there are some splashes of color thrown in here and there. The Unfinished Swan is actually the first game from the developers of What Remains of Edith Finch. I did play this one a pretty long time ago on the PS4, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone talking about it since. At first, this fairy tale world is completely white, and all you have is some black paint you can use to reveal the world around you. New mechanics and puzzles are slowly introduced as the world visually comes to life, and you'll progress through it to uncover more about this peculiar kingdom. And a super colorful game for spot number 10, this is Yoku's Island Express, my favorite Metroidvania of all time. I don't know, maybe Hollow Knight though? It's a tough call. I'll say it's my favorite casual Metroidvania. You play as a small postman dung beetle who uses pinball paddles to move around. That's really all you need to know. This game did for pinball what Rocket League did for soccer. What I'm saying is it makes pinball even more fun and uses those mechanics in some ways you might not be expecting. It has a free demo on Steam and Switch, so you have no excuses. And if you're looking for more indie game recommendations, then you, my friend, have found the right channel.